Hey everyone, it's me Dan, and in this video I want to kind of define health. So in my last video about reishi mushroom, I mentioned that I have a philosophy where there are sort of two sides to health. One side being cleaning, well I like to call it cleaning and building. And one way to think about that is, so on the cleaning side you have all the cleansing or removal of tissue and just generally avoiding things that are bad. Then on the building side, you have creating new tissue, growing new tissue, and adding things that are good. And when I say it like that, it becomes pretty obvious that you want to have both. You want to be able to remove things that are bad and add things that are good. However, for whatever reason, people kind of get stuck in kind of a mental bubble or different paradigms where someone who, let's say, gets really focused on detox, like that's all they can think about, and their main concern is avoiding things that are bad. And then this also seems to carry over into other aspects of their health paradigm, where they're generally looking to avoid anything additive or building. Another way in which you could sort of carry over all of these principles is you could compare spirituality versus bodily health. So on one hand of the health equation, you have people who are meditating and doing spiritual work and looking inward. And on the other hand, you have people who are trying to achieve greater health through things like exercise, fitness. Both involve diet, but I'd say the diet side more falls toward the sort of bodybuilder end of the spectrum. And I would suggest to you that both are absolutely essential. I would say that if your spiritual practice diminishes your physical practice, it's not wholly good. If your physical practice diminishes your spiritual practice, that's not wholly good either. And I'm saying wholly good as in good on the whole, but perhaps you have to consider what is a measure of good in the first place. You know, that's something where people will follow a certain kind of religion or spiritual philosophy, but oftentimes people don't really look at what is actually good. How do you know it's good? Do you think it's good because it follows kind of certain cultural norms for what you think spirituality means or looks like? Or are you just following your tradition of, oh, you know, this temple or this group of people, oh, they're the religious ones, they're the spiritually connected, rather than just guessing, or really much better than just following someone else's paradigm. It's imperative to have a way to measure that. And in my opinion, that can be measured with two things: power and beauty. If your practice makes you more powerful and more beautiful, it's good. If it doesn't, it's not good. If it benefits you in one area and not another, then there are good aspects of it and not so good aspects of it. And so why do I use power and beauty as my metrics? That seems kind of unusual perhaps, but they're very, very specific. Power and beauty are reflections of divinity. So the more that you have power and the more that you have beauty manifest within your body and within your life, the more you're manifesting divinity, which in my opinion is as good as you could do. That's really my definition of good. As well, if you're doing those things, if you're doing things that are empowering and beautifying, you'll also tend to be happier. You will have more joy, you will have more satisfaction with life, and it just so happens that you're also doing something probably that matters at a very deep level for you. The reason I talk about these as the metrics that are most important is that that's my experience through years and years of meditation and internal focus, and really monitoring my experiences rather than focusing on an external paradigm or dogma. So the essential key is to find practices and paradigms that increase your power and increase your beauty. And again, those will probably increase your joy and happiness and love and well-being more than anything else. And isn't that really the point? You know, sometimes it's easy for us to get caught up in things where we're doing things because the culture or some subgroup that we're a part of or want to be a part of or aspire to be a part of does things a certain way, and thus we end up doing them a certain way. But I think it's essential to take a step back, take a look at it, and reflect on what it is that we want and why we're doing any particular activity, and then seeing if the practice or activity is giving us what we want in the first place. And if it's bringing you greater levels of power, beauty, or joy, then it's worthwhile, isn't it? So my takeaway for today is to make sure you're doing things that are actually empowering, beautifying, and increasing your joy and satisfaction with life. And if things aren't, consider finding a new way to do them. And if you're really stuck, you can reach out. And I really love working with people on this. It's really kind of my core passion, and I love getting to work on developing new systems and new practices and then sharing them with other people. So I encourage you to do the same for yourself. And if you'd like some individualized perspective or assistance, I'd love to help you. Just feel free to reach out in the comments, and I will give you an email address to contact me. So with that, I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you later. Bye.